for everybody. So this is TBC Abundant Life, and we're doing a role play training on how to approach a church. We're kind of experimenting with different approaches here, and we're documenting the process. So here's going to be a role of a pastor. We're just we're going to discuss about United for Food and go from there. All right. So
Okay.
we'll go into it. Hey, I'm just gonna refer to you as Pastor Gina. All right, for the sake
Sure.
of. All right,
Absolutely.
all right. So, hey, Pastor Gina. I'm an economic developer with United for Food, and we're actually building humanitarian organizations, food centers in town and nationally all over the country, where you'll be able to go and buy groceries at half cost. So, I do have a question for you. What would it look like for yourself and your congregation if your congregation was able to save 50% on their regular food expenses?
Oh, well, yeah, that'd be, an amazing impact on them. A lot of families in our church right now are struggling.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and that would definitely benefit the families there. And they'd actually get access to other things by being a part of our community. Um, you know, we're building basically a grassroots campaign around global economic development. And what that really looks like is we're we're associated with a digital currency. Okay, now this digital currency will be distributed to all the people that join United for Food at an abundant level. They'll be receiving an abundance of this currency every single month, and that will put them in the position where they can go out into their local communities and local economies and really make an impact as we build our currency and build our economy. We recognize that individuals, in the church are really about helping and developing the world. So we definitely like to partner with you and your congregation, as well as any other churches or pastors that you're networked with as well.
Okay, I have some questions. You said digital currency. Are you referring to Bitcoin?
Yeah, so we're not actually using Bitcoin. We do use a currency that operates similarly to Bitcoin. However, we do have a presentation that breaks all of that down for you. It is about an hour of time to understand all that information, but I definitely like to go over that information with you. That way we can give you an understanding. But just to give you brief context there, we operate from a very different place than where Bitcoin or the major cryptocurrencies are coming from. And that's actually a very key point there. Where we're coming from, most of those currencies operate around greed and like profiteering and stuff like that. That's just kind of what's been introduced to that system there. We are coming from a place of abundance and prosperity, the way creation was kind of meant to be that way. So that's just a little bit of information there. But what I'd like to do is I'd like to set up a time where we can talk in more detail and I can give you a thorough presentation about everything we have going on. How does that sound for you?
Yeah, I'd be interested. I'd like to learn more about it. So is this something that I, as a pastor, as an individual, sign up for, or the church, or the individuals as a
So
collective, or?
it would be basically every individual would be able to sign up for this, gain access to the food centers, gain access to our community, gain access to the currency as well. And that's what that would look like for you guys. And then I can break down how that process would be structured and all the fees associated with that, because there are fees associated with it, but our fees are very manageable. Um, it's $300 a year or 30 a month in order to get access to our food centers there, and people will be able to buy up to $400 worth of food a month at those food centers, and basically that will cost them $200 a month there for that food. So their net savings are significant, and that's not including everything else they'll get in addition to that. So yeah.
So is this just like a once a month thing? They go in and buy food once a month and for 200 and get $400 worth of groceries?
If that's what they wanted to do, basically they'll be able to buy they'll be able to buy $100 a week worth of food, so they can go in 4 times a month or however many
Okay.
amounts of times they need to there. But we just kind of put that spending cap. That way we can distribute the maximum amount of food to the maximum amount of individuals there.
Okay. And how will that affect us as a church, being that we're, under that, non-for-profit
Uh,
status that we have?
so that won't affect your nonprofit status there. You're not, you're not necessarily profiting in that type of a way. It will, with a nonprofit, you're able to receive income, right? It's just how you structure that income and everything like that. So we can talk about all of those specifics on the presentation itself,
Mhm.
and then go into those details for you.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds something, I'd be interested in, definitely. Absolutely. Hmm.
All right. All right. So we have a presentation. We'll actually have a few other pastors present. We're kind of doing a community outreach to pastors there, local pastors. Actually, we have some international, or not international, sorry, but pastors nationally around the country that our team is going out and reaching out to. So we'll kind of have a little community there on the Zoom meeting. Are you familiar with using Zoom?
Yes, I am. We do, due to this unfortunate COVID situation, we had to do just Zoom church for a while.
Yeah.
No one was allowed to actually be in the church, so we're doing Zoom then, and we slowly, opened up and have people coming in, but there's several that still don't feel comfortable coming, so we still do it on Zoom as well, while we're also doing it in, so those that want to stay home, can also participate.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great that you guys have been keeping it going despite the situation and everything like that. It's important to stay connected there. So yeah, that Zoom will be at 8 p.m. on Thursday. And basically I'll give you the link there and you show up on time and we'll give you all the information you need.
Okay, 8 p.m.
Eastern,
Central, Eastern, Pacific.
sorry, yeah.
Okay. All right, that sounds great. Yeah, I'll be looking forward to it. Sounds interesting.
All right. Okay. So that's kind of a rough attempt at that.
Right.
Personally, I might actually say things differently. I didn't necessarily plan anything out. I just wanted to see what I
Right.
could do, and see how I would handle that, right? So
Hmm.
there might be some things I say differently about that. I might not necessarily talk about the currency up front there. I might as well. It kind of just depends on how the situation feels.
Right. Absolutely.
So there's a few different ways you could go about that, but that's kind of the rough idea there. That's kind of the main approach, the rough approach. So that's kind of what we'll be looking to do. We can do it with churches, we can do it with mosques. It's pretty much the same type of thing.
Hmm.
Church or a mosque or a synagogue or a temple or whatever it is. It's pretty much the same approach there, and that's kind of how that would look.
All right. Awesome. Great. So we can go to any not like say we have a boot. We actually, believe it or not, right here have a Buddhist temple right in my small town.
Yeah, there's no reason you can't do that. Like the
Okay.
community supports pretty much every faith. We're not exclusive, or in any kind of way. We have Muslims, we have Christians, we have all different kinds of people in our community. So it's all fine.
Like that. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's neat. I've studied a lot of different faiths. I am a Christian, but I have studied a lot of different other faiths. And to me, you know, it all boils down that we all really pretty much want the same thing.
Yep. Yeah. We're uniting around abundance. We're uniting around prosperity, and we're uniting around, the value of human life and freedom. Right. Those are kind of like the things we're uniting.
Absolutely.
Mutual respect, love for each other, all that kind of stuff. That's what we're uniting
Absolutely. Amazing things.
around. Yep. Does anybody have any questions about that, or would want to add to that, or maybe do a role play in a different type of scenario? Um, uh, if you do, just kind of go ahead and unmute, and then we can do that right now. Mm, no questions? Yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward what you're doing. Now, let's see. Does anybody want to do a role play with me where I'm the pastor and you're the one selling me? Well, or presenting me United for Food. Nobody wants to give it a go. Let me see this real quick. So this is kind of the training here. This is kind of the information, right? So basically, I'm recording this. So this will be on YouTube. That way you can review it. And you'll kind of take this basic script here, this basic approach, and you'll be able to approach a pastor or a imam at a mosque or a monk at a Buddhist temple or whatever it is, and kind of give them that rundown there that way. um, and that's kind of how that would look. So you can start doing that, right away. If you have questions or need clarification on anything, you can ask that here now. And if it's not on your mind right now, but comes to you later on, you can ask that in the group chat, and I'll address that there. But this is a simple way to start reaching out to people. And of course, this role play was specifically for a pastor, but it's the same approach for pretty much any faith denomination there. You're just speaking to that person the way that you would, right, into their context of understanding there, and communicating the same information at the end of the day. So that's what that looks like. Um, as far as reaching out to people, basically we'll just be going online and kind of connecting with people. Now you can connect with individuals on Facebook as well. There's ways to do that. And I'll create a separate video on how to find people on Facebook for this specifically as well. Um, but I just wanted to come on here and give an example of a role play on what that would look like. That way it's available to everyone in our group here, and the community at large, so they have that information and then they can take that and apply that also.